Thank you to all of you for joining us and listening to that music selection. That was actually an original piece composed by Sammy Alexandra. She was someone that was almost a member of one of our cohorts, but was able to create that for us in honor of our programming. So wanted to start this off with just a piece from someone from our larger community to kind of set the stage for today, because it's all about celebrating you all, whether you're a mentor, a mentee, a program partner, someone who's interested in joining one of our programs. Just really wanted to make you all feel welcome, and again, set the tone and set the stage. So I have some of my colleagues today. They're helping me man the chat. So please, introduce yourself in the chat, who you are, where you're from, how you are affiliated with us. Me, I'm probably a new face to some of you. My name is Amanda Nathan. I am the programs manager at EW. I've been on since August of this year. So for those of you I don't know, hello, welcome. For those of you I do know, it's wonderful to see your face, wonderful to see your names. And again, looking forward to spending a few moments with you this Saturday morning and afternoon, depending on where you are. So to kick this off properly, to really get this showcase started, I wanted to pass the mic over to our executive director, our leader of our heart work, Mr. Army Armstead, to really, again, set the stage, welcome you all. And for those of you who don't know us, get to learn a little bit more about us. So Army, it's all yours.
Awesome. First of all, I want to stop and celebrate Amanda. I want to celebrate Amanda because she's not just the program manager. She is our senior program manager, and we are always going to applaud when women are in tech. We are always going to applaud that. We're going to salute that. So thank you for all of the work that you've been putting in. You came in the middle of us doing construction, and you have built something amazing here. And we look forward to next year. We look forward to the new season. But also, I want to, say thank you to the team. I want to say thank you to Paola, always being that glue for us, always outreaching, always sharing our heart and making sure that we are held accountable to what it means to really be community. Leading and supporting system impacted individuals. I want to shout out Laquan. Please excuse me, everyone. I am like on a fake tour right now. I haven't been home in weeks, but I want to shout out Laquan, our student success coordinator. Thank you for being on the front lines. Thank you for being there with and for us. Shout out to Teen. Thank you so much for stepping in as well and stepping up and supporting this one-on-one digital virtual mentorship program. And the OSC, come on, we got to make noise for the OSC, the Outcome Support Committee. You guys have been meeting, you guys have been supporting, you have been building in collaboration with us. And like, I am super honored and grateful for y'all. Y'all still riding with us, and that means a lot. But also to our ENS team, the members that contributed to this process, to Mark, to Ariel, to Yusuf. Thank you for your wisdoms, for your expertise. And today we get to celebrate all of that. Today we get to celebrate all of you. The backbone and the heart of our one-on-one virtual mentorship program is our mentors and our mentees. So today we celebrate you. Come on, let's get some silent snaps going. Let's get the energy growing, because y'all are the reason why we are here. Y'all are the reason why people are successful. Y'all are the reason why the 4.5% of Black people in the tech industry increases. Y'all are the reason why that number increases. Me and Eli just had the opportunity to come from Afrotech, 15,000 Black technologists. And because of you mentors and because of the mentees that show up here, that number will increase next year. That number will continue to increase. But I'll tell you what numbers will decrease. Recidivism decreases here. Another thing that decreases here is the lack of access to technology and the education. And that digital gap, that digital divide is too large. But here we get to see the tangible results of that decrease, and also the racial wealth gap. We can talk about it. It's all right. People have come through Emergent Works one-on-one mentorship program, and they are no longer surviving, they are thriving. And I am an example of that. This team is an example of that. We're going to continue to champion that, but none of it matters and none of it works without y'all. So, we encourage your feedback. We encourage your return. We encourage your support. Go ahead, go out to your teams, to your orgs, advocate for us. We're fundraising. We're in the middle of fundraising season because it's time to scale this. And I'm gonna let Eli do his due diligence. But, you know, before I pass it off, I'd be remiss if I did not shout out this amazing gentleman, this amazing brother who has not only joined this community as a mentee, but as my first team member that I got to serve and then I got to support, who would not come to the office, but meet me at the park and at the gym at 7 a.m. to build relationship and to brainstorm. Like, you can't pay for that. People like that are rare. And it is an honor to watch my brother grow and become the director of programs initiatives, but that's gone. He is now the director of technical education, and he has led this community. He has fed this community. He has been fed from this community. And I'm truly honored to journey with you. And without further ado, I want to introduce Eli, AKA Shot of Adrenaline.
What's going on, everybody? Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for that intro. But you know, the awesome part about being here today is knowing that I was on the other side of this screen, or like in another multiverse. I was really, like you guys, creating a passion project, nervous as hell about if like I'm gonna come to this showcase and people are gonna think if I learned enough. And you know what was the most amazing part? The most amazing part was knowing that, hey, I came here, I presented, I had fellowship, and I'm still talking to almost every last one of my classmates from that first cohort. And what really makes me excited is that, man, you really realize that being somebody who can lead a community, someone that can lead a household, someone that could even lead themselves, it only takes a bit of confidence. And that's something that's been permeating through this community. Thank you to Army for being able to really champion that from day one, because what that means is it outgrows just the messenger. Once it's said, you can't forget it. Like, we all know life is gonna life here, because we say it 97,419 times a cohort, because it means something. And because we are so conscious of that, it makes the learning journey so much more valuable. Now, if you're a mentee in here, let me get some silent snaps. I can hear it all the way from over here, I promise. Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Now, as a mentor now, how amazing, and I'm sure I can hear all the answers, you know, in my head from now. How amazing is it to see your mentee be able to turn into what they talked about 20 weeks ago or 12 weeks ago? These are the types of milestones that we often can't measure, but we know that it comes through love, it comes through patience, and it comes through respect. I like to say, when you are a mentor here, you're not just mentoring somebody or teaching someone how to code. You're essentially imparting your wisdom to create your next colleague. This is a legacy play. Being able to see more Black and brown folks in the tech space is a legacy play. Being able to see systems impacted people really contribute to the technology being built that directly impacts them or us all. That's like gold. That's like vibranium. This is an entire workforce of people with high level skills that plan on not only changing their circumstances, but changing circumstances for people in the future. And that's us. 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's going to look very different. Similar to how we are on Zoom now, and we've learned to adapt to Zoom. We've learned to learn on Zoom. You all have been the crooks for what it means for Emergent Works to stick to its mission. And what that means is you are now, wow, if we can actually have an entire community of people not only conscious of the technology being built, but also looking to impart that wisdom, we turn into an unbeatable force. So truth be told, I just wanted to, you know, flex a little bit for the tech ed team and a greater EW team with a few different stats that we have accrued this cohort so far, or just in EW so far. Now, to date, we have about 153, and it's about to add. We're about to add more EW graduates come through this program. You know how amazing that is? And now 1 in 3 of them will have a job in technology? That's insane. That is insane. What is it? A total of 36%. The total of 36% of our graduates have a position in tech. That's to some people, it seems impossible. To some people, it seems like, oh, well, what are they doing over there? You know what we're doing? No, what we're doing, we're being human and we're sharing information. That's all it is. There's no, deep-rooted cheat code to it. The cheat code is you. Cheesy as it may seem, the cheat code is you. If you're learning to build code, why don't you think you're learning to reshape your own code? Being here at this showcase today is a culmination of all of the hard work, all of the dedication, and all of the passion that you guys have to not only change your lives, but to be the change that you want to see in the world. So before I get out of here, I just want to shout out team. Thank you so much for all of your work, for being able to come on board when you did and really help navigate and mold this cohort to what it is now. Amanda, one time for Amanda. Awesome job at making sure this community has been not only functional, but thriving. These sharing circles are what brings us together. It's what the fellowship is. It's what being able to connect with people digitally is. And Paola, wow. Thank you so much for your tenacity. Thank you so much for your patience. And thank you so much for all your hard work and making sure that this community knows exactly its worth. Being of this community means you can relate in a different way, and you can relate in the realest of ways. And lastly, Laquan, thank you so much for having the heart, for having the drive to make sure our mentees initiative and program-wide, making sure that they have that confidence to show up, really show up for that goal support, knock those goals out, create some new goals, because you know what happens? They get here. Now they feel like they can do anything in the world, let alone in technology. And if that's the case, then we did our job. So without any further ado, I just want to say thank you and pass the mic back over to Amanda.
Thank you, Eli and Army. Do you see why I had them go first? I had them do their introductions because it's always so powerful, so passionate, and you always make sure to shout out everyone and make everyone feel connected, but also see the connections and the threads. So thank you so much for that. So we're going to dive right into some of the passion projects from our one-on-one virtual mentorship community. We have some members that were not able to be here on the Zoom call because guess what? They have to work. So we respect that. We applaud that. But I have the honor for at least one of our mentees of presenting her passion project. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I will not be able to do it justice like she would have done, but I'm going to take a stab and just give you a very brief little flavor of what she accomplished here. So, and again, I'm going to call on you guys to give me thumbs up if you can see my screen. So I know that I'm not sharing something you can't see like I was doing with the music. You couldn't hear for a moment, but we got back on track. So what you're seeing in front of you is a website that one of our mentees developed for her husband. Her husband has a construction business. He's a handyman. He does plumbing, electrical, foundation work. As you can see here, he does whatever, right? He offers free consultations, and their tagline is happy house, happy spouse. So Janelle Purdy, who was mentored by Michael Jones, they in collaboration got this up and running. She used some HTML to create the structure, some CSS to stylize it and keep it clean and bright and simple, but most importantly, keep the focus on her husband's work. So I'm not in this field, but I see a shovel and some dirt. Maybe this is plumbing or something like that. Then we go down here, you see some of the windows and just what they were able to install some new windows and customize the place for their client. And then she has here that they recently put up some saddle racks, some bridle and halter shelving. This looks like it's a barn. So they're able to customize your space, remodel your space, renovate your space. I think that's a picture of Janelle in the back. And then you have her husband's contact info at the bottom. So again, I'm sure Janelle is going to look at this recording and be so excited. But here it is. Here is a website that she designed, again, in collaboration with her mentor. And just want to give it up for Janelle. Although you can't be here, your work is being represented and it looks awesome. All right. So then I'm going to switch over now to some of our recorded presentations. And I want to play one from Fatima Assad. Fatima may or may not be on this call. If you are, welcome. I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you speak. I know you did not want to speak today, but you did want your work to be shared. So I'm going to let you and your recording speak for yourself. And Fatima, your mentor was Mayada Carpano. So you two together worked on this. And here it goes.
And I worked with my mentor in creating this project. So my mentor's name was Mayada, and we worked together to create this TBR, as I called it. So I love reading books, and we started off discussing on what our passion project should be about. And I was like, I love reading books. That's all my hobbies are. So in Figma, which is this website right here, we created a mock of the page, which people would see when they click on search of books, which I will show you my website that I made in this tab right here called TBR. And there's this button that will show a sample list of books. And we use the app VS Code, Visual Studio Code, to create an HTML file based on my mock from Figma. Figma is my mock. And I added CSS styling to the HTML. So that was a lot. I just wanted to show you a quick overview of our project. And this mock is basically what I used to draft what I was going to code. Right here, we used Figma to really create basics. So create an account and email and password. I talked about TBR because in people who read, TBR is like your to be read pile. You have a list of books that you haven't read, and you want recommendations on what you will read, want to read, anything book related. So I created this little layout, and Mayada and I we actually used this code. So this was something that I got off of Figma templates, and then I used that to create my own. I stayed with the same color scheme. I really loved the green and how it was really contrasting, but the same. So although there's a lot of coding here, I used this in my website. So this website, you can see like it says click here, and then here's the top result. So there's many buttons and stuff that I included a picture, made a background purple. There's many websites I will also show you in Visual Studio Code. I went to Google Fonts, and then I was able to import Google Fonts. I'm going to pull it up really quickly right here. Different types that I wanted. So I also implemented that in my code. I also used W3 Schools to learn how to incorporate that in my code. So I showed you a lot of stuff on my Google screen. I'm going back to my code here, Visual Studio Code. And you can see over here that I have different tabs. So me and my mentor worked together to create, you can see the history of our saving our work from last time here in the terminal. Fun fact, actually, I used Terminal, which is this app right here, to save my work at school. So at school, I use CSS coding, and I use CSS styling in this project. So it was really helpful to use something that I was learning in class, but actually using it in application somewhere. So me and my mentor talked about how I code at school. I have a little bit of a background history in coding. I've done a little bit of like coding workshops and stuff, but I've never used it in application. So my mentor helped me use that in a real world context where I was actually making something that I drafted and watching it become something that I actually drafted for myself. So we practiced over here with basic Hello World, creating lists and whatnot. And over here on the left, you can see that we actually use CSS styling. Thank you so much for watching my project and all of the things that we've done together. I'm really excited for my mentor and I to finish this. So I hope you enjoyed watching my project and seeing all the resources that I used and the draft template as well.
All right, so let's give it up for Fatima. Fatima, again, I'm not sure if you're on, but if you guys can show her some love in the chat. Again, when she watches this back, I'm sure she'll be so happy to see, you know, how well received her project was. And Mayada, if you are here, thank you again for collaborating. I love how Fatima continuously shouted you out throughout this, because as she said, she was able to do this in collaboration with you. So thank you for supporting and assisting her in developing her skills so that she was able to showcase her talent here today. So thank you for that. Next up, we have a project from our mentee, Samuel. Samuel, I believe I saw you on here, so I would love if you could take yourself off mute for a few seconds and just share with us what you have here.
Yeah, let's see. How do I not spoil this? Let's start off by saying that.
So I'll press play after you speak.
Basically, I got out of prison about 5 months ago. I got out on June 7th. I remember doing my Emergent Works interview actually on a prison phone, thanks to a staff member that was nice enough to let me do that with Eli and Laquan. And I just got out and started doing Emergent Works. And when I met with Daniel that first time, once we finally got going after the amazing sessions with Teen and Paola, he said, what do you want to do? What experience do you have? And I said, I coded this football game on a calculator when I was on the inside, and I was like, can we turn it into reality? And I didn't think I could do it, but he just kept pushing me, and I'll let the video speak for itself.
Yeah. All right, so let's go.
When I was told I would get to do a passion project for Emergent Works, I had one project that I knew I wanted to do. It started as a board game, and it was actually the first thing I ever coded on a calculator, actually. All right. You want to be the host this time?
Yeah, sure. All right. It is 4372.
And it has become an online multiplayer game. 2 months ago, Footboard was just a blank index.html file. But thanks to a lot of coffee and a lot of help from my mentor, Daniel Dickinson, I was able to learn a lot about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to get to the point where we were able to play this game.
Oh, what are you gonna do? You're on the 2. Oh man. Gotta go for this. Decent. 2 yards. From the 2. 3 yards, 0.5. Rounded up to a touchdown. Whew, that was pretty exciting there at the end.
My mentor Daniel was an invaluable resource. He showed me how to use tools like CSS Grid to make it look nice, Pusher to be able to communicate between 2 users over the internet, Netlify to be able to deploy the website, even setting up a basic Express Node.js server. I know I would have accomplished none of this without Daniel. Got your number.
Oh. Whoa.
Oh,
What
I don't
was
got
that?
your number.
What I'm doing.
I like it, going for the W.
Going for the W.
Oh, you definitely got it.
Yes.
Passion projects make for moments like this. Final time out here.
Whoa.
Ooh, 40-yard game.
That's not a Hail Mary. Come on. 47 yards. Ah! Made it. Damn.
Yeah,
That was a good game. Oh, man. I'll get you next time.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Teen. Thank you, Paola. Thank you, everybody in the cohort, everybody at Emergent Works. This was a life-changing opportunity.
All right, so again, that video always makes me smile and laugh. You probably heard me chuckling through the audio because it not only shows the talent and the skill, used to create something like this, the visuals and all that great stuff, but it just also shows really the heart of what this experience is all about. It shows, Sam and his mentor, Daniel, just really interacting, with each other, having a good time, laughing, joking, and just that connection always just warms my heart and just makes me smile and laugh along with them. So thank you, Sam. Thank you, Daniel. I believe you on the call too. I saw you earlier. Thank you for that. And thank you for, just contributing to this experience and sharing your work with us today.
And if you guys get bored, footboard.com, you can check it out. We've added some graphics. It looks a lot cooler now, so check it out today. You can play your friends. Thank you.
No, thank you for the plug. Thank you, thank you. So yes, you heard him. So go ahead, go visit, go check it out for yourself. Before we jump into more passion projects, we wanted to pause and just introduce a selection from our TRAP program, our Technology, Rhythm, and Passion program. It is a program that many of you know about. It really wants to bridge, between music and technology. Those that are budding artists or interested in music and wanted to dabble in, do I have the talent? Can I push away some of these fears and kind of, lean into this experience? And so it is a program that has a similar format as our one-to-one. And, as far as having, that pre-program, that active learning where they're in workshops and learning and, new skills for some and just enhancing some already, had talents and strengths for others. And so we have a member of that community who is both a one-on-one mentee, but was also a TRAP mentee. And I want to give LaTonya Matrice the floor to introduce the selection from the TRAP program. LaTonya, it's all yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This selection is called Anonymously Yours. I'm kind of a creature of emotion, so this piece is about the world kind of like bombarding us, saying like, you have to be okay, you have to be okay, forget it. But even though we go through that, and I know for me, I try to like refuse, I try to resist. I'm like, don't tell me. When it's my time, my voice breaks through. So hopefully that's what you hear when you hear this piece. And thankfully, you're going to hear some familiar voices. Folks were so kind and gracious to lend their voices to this piece. So it's us collectively sharing that experience.
Thank you, LaTonya. Here we go.
It's time to let go.
Time to let it go.
Let
To
go.
let whatever, whoever
Let go.
it is, let go and actually leave.
Step in the direction of choice.
So long as it is not the clearing forged by limitations of it.
Not for the day, not for the moment.
Not for the moment.
Not for the moment.
Not for the
Not for
moment,
the
not
day.
for the day, not for the
Not
late
for the late
cue of anything.
cue
Just let
of
go.
anything. Just let go.
Step in the direction
Another
of
day has
choice.
come.
Another day has
Started
come.
clean.
Fortunate to be in it. Started clean.
Started
Got
clean,
house cleaning.
not house clean.
Unless you too believe that your body is a temple.
Clean your mind. Clean
your mind,
energy.
clean your
Your
energy, your
frustration.
frustration,
Your motivation. Purpose.
Clean your mind.
And since for reasons known and unknown,
Accepted and unaccepted, true and false,
Accepted and unaccepted. True and false.
honorable and not.
honorable and
Honorable
not.
and not.
The personal thing
Personal
that harmed
thing
you
that
cannot
harmed
or will not
Cannot
apologize.
or will not
Forget.
apologize.
The
Cannot
personal
or
thing
will
that
not.
you
The
harmed
personal
cannot
thing
or
that
will
you
not
harmed
get your
cannot
apology.
or
Forget.
will not get your apology.
Apologize.
Apologize.
Accept.
Accept.
Apologize.
Forgive.
Accept.
Personal thing that
Forgive.
you harm
Forget.
cannot or
Clean
will
your
not.
energy, your frustration, and motivation. I'm the messenger. I
I
give
am
this
the
to you.
I give this
Purpose.
to you.
I give this to
Not
you.
that this is mine to give. That is, not that this is mine to give beyond the power of sincerity.
Power of
and
sincerity and understanding
Understanding.
and
And
willing.
willing.
This is enough.
This is enough.
Sufficiency in this anonymous apology and mass forgiveness. Because
apology and
truth
mass
is, it need
forgiveness.
only be
Truth
said
is,
out
because
loud.
truth
Truth
is,
is said out loud.
Truth is, it need only be said out loud.
and the
And the
permanency of digital ink is a
statue
statuette
standing for the
standing.
spoken word. Besides,
Besides,
we
Besides,
share more experience.
Besides,
We harbor
we
more
share more
identical emotion
experience.
than we know or
We
admit.
harbor
And
more
so,
identical
despite the
emotion than we know.
circumstance, respectfully pardoning the specifications of your hurt.
And so, despite the circumstance, respectfully pardoning the specifications of your hurt.
so despite the circumstance,
we harbor more identical emotion than what we know or admit.
Allow to speak.
his
To
face,
be her voice.
His faith,
Her
to be
voice.
her
To
voice,
To be my
my
to
act.
be my act,
To be your
to
tear.
be your
tear.
tear.
your tear.
Allow
Allow
this
this
to
to be
be the make right.
the make right.
anonymously yours.
All right, let's give it up for LaTonya and her collaborators. I heard some familiar voices. I heard Eli, I heard Teen, probably some others, but thank you again. And LaTonya thanked you better than I could ever do so. So thank you, LaTonya. We're going to head into your passion project, and I would love for you to maybe after we play it to share just your thoughts on your project, but we're going to lead right into that now. But don't forget to give LaTonya and her collaborators just some love in the chat.
When I started this project, I just didn't realize how much would need to go into it. I thought I'd make a couple APIs and, add in some content that, kind of complemented that, and it wouldn't be this big deal. But it ended up being a a really diverse coding experience because it pulled in so many nuanced things that come up in coding that we don't necessarily think about. Reading all the documentation, all of the Googling and researching, and really just fine tuning my perspective as a code web dev. You would make progress on something and then realize that that progress now created 2 or 3 other things you needed to handle. And so that goes on the list, and then you just kind of keep working through it until you get to a state where you're like, okay, this is done. It's an MVP, but it's done. My code is on GitHub for folks who would like a closer look. I'm going to focus on 2 of the APIs that are included in Epic APIs, and those are Pokemon and Star Wars. Pokemon is a great example of error handling. An API call may return a 200 or an OK status, but actually not return any match for the search. That's one example of an error that had to be handled. The Star Wars cache works by making the API request, asking the API to please check storage I set up for the data it's going to provide, and if that storage is empty, to please put everything it has available into that storage. This is done with a recursive function. So then after that, every time a user makes a request, it's pulling from that stored content instead of making a new request to the API. The biggest thing I'd like for folks to take away is APIs are not something you can approach in a one-size-fits-all mentality. They are all unique, and it just makes it interesting. It makes it a very diverse experience. It motivated me to want to dig into the nuances that were necessary to achieve what I saw as the vision for this project.
Let's give it up for LaTonya. Thank you. I'm going to let you say a few words, but I also neglected to shout out a mentor that assisted you with this, Mike Cargill. Mike, thank you. Always, continuously, whenever I can, want to shout you out for always assisting and leaning in to help multiple mentees sometimes, fulfill their dreams and develop their skills. So thank you, Mike. But LaTonya, if you want to offer a few words, the floor is yours.
Not really. I mean, it's a massive project. I basically said I wanted to get more practice with APIs. And so I did a collection of them. You maybe couldn't get that from the video, but there's literally 10 APIs in this project. And then I paired them off with semantic HTML so I can build a lot of user input in that way. And it's just a lot of fun. And Mike was very gracious in taking me on. He already had a mentee and added me to his list. So I was very, very grateful for that. But yeah, it was just a ton of work. It's not deployed yet. It will be soon. I just want to wire up the email API because the point is for you to go through that experience and then email it to yourself or other people. So pretty much that's it.
Thank you for that. And when it's up and running, don't forget to plug it on our Slack channels. Let us know. Definitely, share your work. So again, thank you, LaTonya. All right. So we're going to be heading into Ethan McMahon's passion project. His mentor was Emma Cunningham. Ethan, I'm not sure if you're on today. If so, we'd love to open the floor if you want to introduce your passion project.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. So for my passion project, my mentor and I, Emma, we worked on a nutrition app because like most of my life, I've basically played like sports, so like exercising and working out and like being healthy has always been like a passion of mine. So like when she asked me what I wanted to do for my passion project, I thought, well, since I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to, make it to this cohort, since I don't have any, this is my first cohort and I didn't really have any computer literacy, I figured maybe I'll try to do a nutrition app. So it actually came out like pretty cool, and we're able to do some like really cool like JavaScript functions, and I'm still just barely scratching the surface, but I know it wouldn't be possible if I wasn't able to be in like Emergent Works. So I'm very thankful for all the opportunities that Eli and all you guys offered us this cohort, and I'm ready to come back for another one. So I'm just happy that I was able to finish it with Emma's help, and hopefully it looks pretty good.
Well, it certainly does. And I can't wait for folks to tell you in the chat how great it does look. So without further ado, here we go.
Hi, my name is Ethan McMahon. I'm currently a mentee in Emergent Works and I'm learning how to code. My passion project touches close to home, literally. I'm a full-time dad, a YouTuber, an aspiring writer. I work 3 part-time jobs, and I hope to become a web developer. For me, time is always something that I wish I had more of. But since that sadly isn't possible, I came up with my nutrition app idea for my passion project. In our hustle and bustle capitalistic society, where we have to change diapers, beat traffic, meet deadlines, and get our kids to school on time, who has the time to cook a healthy meal, much less exercise? I know that I didn't. I was struggling to juggle all the various demands that life as an adult will throw at you, but I wanted to use this amazing opportunity which Emergent Works has afforded me to solve a dilemma that I know that many others silently are suffering from. What does my nutrition app do? It saves you time by helping you easily and efficiently choose a healthy meal to eat, just by typing in what you already have at your disposal in your refrigerator. This is going to be a game changer for me because in my typical day, I don't have the time to stand and look in the refrigerator wondering what to make, because when my kids are hungry, patience is not their virtue. In the past, I would just grab any junk that I could find and warm up in the microwave in under 3 minutes and eat while I sat at the computer, folded laundry, washed my son's bottles, or sent an email. My point is that we are all busy, and time is something that we must use effectively, or else we'll never reach our goals or survive our action-packed schedules. Why not have an easy and fun way to choose and prepare healthy meals? This app is not just a time saver, but more importantly, a lifesaver, because work will work you to the bone, but your health matters too. We are all human, and we need help along the way to get to where we need to go. So let my app assist you on your pursuit of happiness and of healthiness. So this is my index, my homepage, my index HTML with my CSS. So this is the page you'll see in the very beginning. And I have some links that you can read more information about. Links to my channel. And so it's easy for you to navigate. Next one is my about page, which gives a lot of reasons of why I want to do this application and why I'm passionate about it, which I talked about. Here's my family. There's some more information that I found that correlates busy lifestyles with unhealthy food choices for lack of time. Here's a video my wife and I recorded where we were sponsored by 310 Nutrition, and they have like healthy shakes for parents and people on the go who are working and trying to juggle a million things at once. Here's some more facts if you haven't got enough already. And then this is the fun page, the recipe page, where you can get your healthy food selections. I've added 15 recipes. I can always add more, but I thought 15 was pretty sufficient for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, snacks, little variety, different food choices. And the cool thing is you can type in whatever food you want, like let's say chicken breast, and then it'll pop up the recipes that correlate with chicken breast, which will be 5 of the 15. And if you wanted something else, that you wanted breakfast, you can put eggs in. And then there's 4 recipes that have eggs. If you had a sweet tooth, you could type in maple syrup, and you will get 2 recipes for maple syrup. And then if you wanted something a little healthier like walnuts, you could type it in. You have 3 options. And then if you want to refresh, you can go back to the beginning where you have 15 options, and you can jump backwards if you want, and start up back at the beginning for some motivation. This is my passion project. I want to thank Emergent Works for this opportunity. Like I said, I could barely use a computer like not very long ago. I definitely couldn't do any coding, so it's been a really fun experience. I've enjoyed every moment of it, and I look forward to becoming even better at this. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Ethan. Let's show some love to Ethan with reactions in the chat. Ethan, thank you so much. And I think you've demonstrated that you did more than scratch the surface. You tapped into something that I love. I love food. I'm a foodie. So being able to have something that, like you said, you could just enter in what you're interested in and some recipes come up. I think that's a wonderful idea. So thank you for that. Oh, we're going to pivot for a little bit. Let me stop sharing this for a moment because we do have a guest speaker. And I would love to introduce them and really, build this up and read their bio. So I'm just gonna look and see if I can see him. But if not, you guys can look for our guest speaker and make sure we pin him so folks can see his face as he's sharing. But we have the pleasure of having Antoine Patton here. And Antoine Patton is a full stack software engineer leveraging the power of code to build impactful products and communities. In 2008, Antoine was sentenced to 8 years in prison for criminal possession of a weapon. While incarcerated, Antoine taught himself how to build websites, apps, and video games. He also taught dozens of other incarcerated men how to code. Once he left prison, he started his tech career working as a programmer for multiple tech-based companies. Antoine has launched a nonprofit with his friends and family called Photo Patch Foundation, which helps kids send letters and photos to their parents in prison. Photo Patch has sent over 1 million photos to prisons across the nation. Antoine has also launched a full-blown tech school called the Unlock Academy that holistically helps people unlock several different tech and digital skills. Unlock Academy has taught over 7,000 people how to code, design, day trade, and more. Antoine's ultimate goal is to build a school or build schools around the world that teach kids skills and information they will need to thrive as adults and unlock financial freedom. When Antoine is not hacking global impact, you can find him creating music, meditating, or spending time with his children. And I think it is of note that Antoine has taken time out of his day today. Today is a celebration day for Unlock Academy, and he found time to be with us. He's also, I think, on the West Coast, maybe. So it's a lot of things going on, but Antoine made time. So thank you for your time. And with that, Antoine, welcome. And we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us today.
Yes. Thank you so much, Amanda, for that intro. Definitely appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody. I definitely appreciate everyone here. And congratulations to everybody who's killing it like this cohort. Like this cohort is really awesome. So salute to Emergent Works for you guys like really setting that new stage, a new bar for your new cohort. I'm proud of you all. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen really quick. Okay, if you guys, everybody can see my screen. If you can see my screen, just do me a favor, type unlock in the chat. We all good? Thank you. Okay, cool. So yeah, as Amanda said, this is really a long time coming. Yesterday marked 4 years that we've been running Unlock Academy, which is our holistic tech school, which helps people learn digital skills. I can't believe it's been 4 years, right? I really can't. So that means it's been 4 years since I got fired from that job and decided to just take that full route as being an entrepreneur and being a community leader. So I want to take this moment to say thank you to the Most High for allowing me still to be here and be in this position and have these opportunities. Thank you, Emergent Works, for thinking of me to be a guest speaker. Like, that's really big. It just shows that I am on the right path. So I'm just going to go through a few slides, but this could be as engaging as you want. You can stop me at any time, ask any questions. I'm going to just share my story and share what we're working on at the Unlock Academy. So I've personally been on a mission to empower and uplift economically depressed neighborhoods and people and communities and groups, just using the power of ed tech, which is education and tech combined. So, and I just want to make tech as relatable as possible and just bring it to people, right? So we can meet people where they are, so they don't feel like they have to be, that typical role when you think of a Bezos or a Zuckerberg or a Musk. That tech, it can be for anybody. It's not a color thing. It's not a gender thing. It's literally a mindset thing. And if you really want it, you can get it. So we just want to show people that. And I've been great, I guess, blessed enough to be surrounded by an amazing group of individuals. So in this photo here, you see some of our team, not even everyone is here, but every year we're just like adding on to this team. And it's really cool because everybody here is, to me now, a loved one, but some people are literally family and some people are friends who became family. So really awesome to have people alongside you. And I'm sure at Emergent Works, you guys can relate to just have a team of people who you really like working alongside of. So yeah, we on this mission to uplift people, and the vision is just to be an inspiration as well, because a lot of the people who we teach don't believe that they can do it. You know, they are computer illiterate, or scared of coding, or scared of day trading, or scared of cybersecurity, because these words have a stigma with them that makes you think that you have to be really, really good at math, or you hadn't been doing it since you was a young kid. So our vision is first to inspire and motivate, and then we start to teach. I think I have a story that does do that for people. So that's kind of like where I come in at and why my role is so important at Unlock Academy. So a couple things that I do before I get into my story. I like to consider myself a social entrepreneur, because everything I do does have some kind of social element to it. I like to give back. I like to impact people's lives and make the world a little bit better, however that may look, even if it's just a little drop in the ocean. So I'm the executive director at Photo Patch Foundation. Photo Patch Foundation is a nonprofit organization. We work with kids who are impacted by incarceration. Usually that means that they have a mom or dad in prison, or maybe it's an uncle or auntie who they were really close with, or a grandparent. You know, just these kids who feel like they're losing out on a loved one who making an impact in their life. So we work with those kids. We do different events with them. And we also have a cool technology service, app and a website where they can literally upload photos and type a message. And when they press send, it comes to us and our team prints it out, packages it, and ships it off to the prison for them. So we just make it really easy for them to communicate with their loved one in prison. That way they don't have to worry about stamps, envelopes, going to the post office or anything like that, or even money, because we make the service totally free. So this was a vision I had while locked up, while I was in prison. And it's really cool to see it actually become true. Right now, to date, we've sent over 1 million photos to prisons around the world for kids. So that's really cool. I love that organization. I love what we do there. But we also have another component kind of in the same vein, because Unlock Academy is still something that was a vision that I had in prison, to teach and help people unlock new skills. So Unlock Academy, we offer low-cost ed tech lessons, whereas a lot of people come to us and they're like, why is this only X amount of dollars? And that's intentional, right? We don't want to charge too much and scare people away and just add another boundary, another reason to stop people from getting into the industry. And on top of that, I'm also the CTO over at Atlas Digital Group, which is pretty much a consulting company, a development company. We build websites, apps, and other kind of digital services for entrepreneurs, for businesses, for churches, for schools. We have a lot of different clients. And I've been doing that since I came home from prison. I launched that with my cousin Greg and my brother Zach. And yeah, that's just been a great asset as well. Even while I was working my job, I still was able to build websites and apps on the side. So I definitely encourage people, to learn code, because as you see, these are 3 different types of organizations that we have, but it all stems from coding. So Photo Patch, we have an app that helps kids. Unlock Academy, we teach people how to code. And then at Atlas Digital, we use our code to build services and apps for other businesses and entrepreneurs. So yeah, one skill can open up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 streams of income. So a little bit more about me, my timeline. I'm from Buffalo, New York. That's where I was raised at. I graduated from high school in 2005. About 3 years later, things took a left turn and I ended up being arrested for illegal possession of a weapon, having a gun pretty much before I was even old enough to have a gun and get a permit. That led to 8 years in prison. And while in prison, I had like this wake up call to say, you know what, the streets aren't for me. I went to prison and it was just tough because I lost out on a lot of friendships. People who I thought was my friend, they just kind of disappeared. And I didn't get bitter about that. I was like, okay, I guess I put myself in this position, so that sucks. But what was even worse was I lost out on a lot of family. A couple family members passed away while I was in prison. I wasn't able to see my mother, my father, you imagine that, but also wasn't able to see my daughter. My daughter was 3 years old when I went to prison. So I missed her 4th birthday, her 5th birthday, her 6th birthday, her 7th. It was devastating, you know, really devastating. So she ended up being my core motivation, right? Which is even why I built the Photo Patch website while in prison. And mind you, I didn't know how to code before prison, right? I did not know how to code, but while in prison, I came up with the Photo Patch concept. And I was like, I love getting these letters from my daughter, whose name is JJ. It would be great if JJ can send me letters without having to wait for her mother or her grandmother or her grandfather to help her out with stamps and envelopes and things like that. So the vision was to build a service, a website where kids can come, type some messages, a letter, and just press send, and it'll just be sent to the prison. I knew that I wouldn't be able to benefit from this because I was in prison at the time, and when I come home and launch it, I wouldn't need it. But I knew I was locked up with over 2,000 people, and in New York State, there's over, I think, like a couple 100,000, if I'm not mistaken, prisoners. Maybe not, but I know in United States, there's 1.3, 1.4 million people incarcerated, and there's over 2 million kids who have a mom or dad in prison. So I'm like, yeah, other people can use the same service. I thought we were going to make it for profit, but yeah, I ended up saying, nah, let's just do a nonprofit route because somebody was doing something similar for profit. And also I was just like, how are you charging kids to send letters to their mom or dad in prison? Something about that just felt wrong. So we were like, how does nonprofits work? And thankfully, my cousin Greg, he started sending me some information on nonprofits. He was on the outside, so he would like mail me stuff on that. And then my good friend Craig, who I met in prison, him and I were like studying and talking about Photo Patch, and him and I went home. We're going to go home around the same time, right? I was going home on November 18th, 2014, which was yesterday, 8 years ago yesterday, right? Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, yesterday marks 8 years of me being home. I can't even believe that. I felt like I was going to be in prison forever. I feel like I was never going to get out. I can't believe it's been like 8 years. It's wild. And yeah, so him and I were like, yeah, when we go home, we're going to stay together. We're going to work on things. And literally, I think he's on this call now, man. Craig has not left my side. I have not left his side. We had a couple of little headbutts here and there, but no, we locked in for life now. So yeah, it was just cool to have a team. Even before I left prison, I already had like, think about like the good energy around you, like your environment really matters. So to have people already ready to support your positivity, I think is key. Like I never had a moment where I feel like I was going to backslide and recidivate and go back to prison. Like that was never an option or a thought. So I definitely got to give a lot of that to my support system. And also education, just learning along the way, opened up my mind and my worldview to where I never even felt like I had to go back to my old ways. So yeah, learned how to code, taught myself how to code in prison. We could talk more about that later if you guys want to know that story. It's a pretty cool, crazy story. But by 2012, I had built the first version of Photo Patch. By 2014, I was released. And I moved directly to Florida because I wanted to be out of New York. I didn't want to be around the same environment again. And by 2015, literally on January 1st and December 31st, me and my cousin Greg, we were like filling out the paperwork to make Photo Patch a nonprofit. We just wanted to put the paperwork in on January 1st as soon as the new year, 2015 ball dropped. So that was like a great memory. I remember doing that. So I'm glad we're still up and running. In 2016, we decided to launch Atlas Digital because a lot of people kept coming to me asking for websites to get built. And I was like, I guess I could be charging for this stuff. So I launched like, hey, Greg, you want to start a business? He's like, what? I don't code. I'm like, no, I got you. Like, I'll teach you some things called WordPress or Shopify. Like people just want WordPress websites and they don't want to have to do it themselves. So that's how we started. And now we just have like a whole custom development process, which is really dope as well. And then, yeah, we grew that. 2018, I launched my memoir, which I call From Cages to Stages, which is pretty much a manifestation of me going from like these physical, but also mental cages to like new stages in my life. And then like a month after I released that book is when I got fired from my job. And they were pretty much, it was a good job, like an owner, good people. They only fired me because they ran out of money. And he told me, he was like, hey, look, I'm gonna have to let you go. But if you want, I can help you get a job at another company. And I was like, honestly, that's probably not the best move. I need to really try this entrepreneurship journey. I didn't tell him this, but if I was working 8 hours a day at his company, about 4 or 5 of those hours, I was working on Atlas Digital or Photo Patch. So I wasn't even like giving my all to this company, and I didn't feel right about that. So I was like, let me just really, really give this my all. So about 2 or 3 months later, in November 2018, we did a soft launch of Unlock Academy. And we started with this vision to teach 2,020 people how to code by 2020. The inspiration came because, once again, I wanted to teach. I had already started teaching people in prison. But when this guy fired me and was like, do you want a job somewhere else? And I was like, no. It just re-inspired me to teach again, because I was like, I know a skill where I don't have to go get a job. I can literally just go build websites for people or build apps for people, and I don't have to sweat a job. So I was like, I know a lot of people who can really benefit from that. It may be time to start the school and start educating more people. So here's some pictures of me literally in prison, just in case you don't believe it. Because some people were like, what? I don't believe you. Like, I wouldn't believe it if you didn't say it. But yeah, I really did do some time in prison. Here's my daughter, JJ, right here. She came to visit me maybe 2 or 3 times that whole time, because, you know, in New York State, when you go to prison, they ship you to like the furthest prison possible from your family. So it was hard for me to get visits from her. So that was really tough. And this picture up here was really important to me because at one point, a bunch of my family did come visit me because I graduated from the college program I was in. I was enrolled in something called Bard College, and they had an initiative called Bard Prison Initiative, where they would come in and they would teach us all kind of courses. So I got an associate's degree in liberal arts while in prison. And this day I did a valedictorian speech. And I just dedicated it to my family. So this was just a really special day for me. And just to see them come up there and be proud of me just gave me more fire and fuel to just keep on going. So to date, we've introduced a lot of people to coding. Over 15,000 people have at least like taken one of our classes. We've helped raise a bunch of money for charities, including Unlock Academy, but we've helped other charities as well. And when I made this, it was 30,000 people we connected to their parents in prison through our app, but that number is now closer to 70, 80,000 now. So yeah, it's just been really, really cool to make an impact. Before my mom, or she's actually my stepmom, passed away a couple years ago. She told me, she was like, she's texted me like a couple weeks before she died or transitioned. And she was like, I don't care if you don't do nothing else. Like, you've already made me proud. You've already made the impact that I wanted to see. And like, I really felt successful at that point. You know, we always chasing success. And I was like, that's something that we can chase forever. But hearing her say those words just made me feel like, all right, that's it. Anything else on top of this is just icing on the cake. So I really appreciated her saying those words to me before she transitioned. Also very proud of our team, who I'll talk a little bit about earlier. You can see some of them in the pictures here. We teach everything from design to trading to, we did a cybersecurity class a couple of days ago. We got some people on here who don't even teach, but their goal and their job is literally just to support the students and make sure that they're successful in their learning. So it's really dope to have these kind of people. Like, we don't have an office or a building, and everybody's 100% remote, but we still get it done. We still build bonds with each other. And I'm really proud of them. And I have a great support system at home as well. So really love that, to have like these different types of teams around me. I'm an Echo and Green Fellow. If you ever heard of Echo and Green, it's an organization based out of New York City. I really love their work and what they do, and they look for social entrepreneurs and try to pretty much uplift what we do and make us better. So I appreciate being a part of that community. I won a couple awards, a couple hackathons, and like I said, I got a degree as well from Bard College. So just a couple of things I'm proud of. Also, this is a proud moment that happened almost a year ago. Me and my daughter actually got to go on the Ellen show, which was really cool, and meet Ludacris and Ellen, and they donated some funds to us to help us out. Really, I think they gave it to my daughter. They helped. They gave it to her. They gave it to her. They did. They wanted to help her with her mission to help 10,000 women get into the tech industry. So she launched an initiative called 10K Tech Queens. And she told Ellen about it. And she's like, well, I got somebody who wants to help out. So go check out that episode if you guys haven't already. It was definitely a surreal moment because we kind of manifested that. And we never really made any actions to get on that show, but they reached out to us. Oh, thanks to my brother, Zach. My brother, Zach, knew somebody who worked there. They were old friends and they just had lunch one day. And she was like, I love what you guys are doing. I'm gonna introduce you to Ellen. So they really did it. It was really cool. So, but yeah, my daughter, like, I think was really one of the best parts of all of this is that, you know, she used to send me letters in prison that motivated me to build Photo Patch Foundation. And, you know, I built this website. I come home and we launched the website, and now kids are using the website to send photos and letters. But then she learned how to code and she built the app version of it. You know, and now, you know, all these kids are using the app to send letters and photos to their mom or dad in prison. You know, so she went from being somebody's impacted by incarceration to actually doing something about it. And it just felt so good and fulfilling to see her do that. And it opened up so many doors for her. So definitely was a very, very proud moment. Here goes some more media highlights that we have. We've been in a couple of different places. So grateful for those people for highlighting our mission. A couple books I wrote, you can look those up on Amazon, From Cages to Stages, and From Procrastinator Programmers only on Unlock.academy. Pretty much a book that kind of motivates people to get past the procrastination and giving them some tips and some techniques and framework on how to actually start putting in the work to become a programmer. And one more thing I want to talk about is just like this power of coding. One, of course, you know, you can land a job at a software-based company, which is really cool, or not even a software-based company. Like you can work at a hospital, you can work at a church, you can work at a restaurant. All of these companies are using tech. They have some kind of tech that you can use. So they need coders. Like coders are in demand no matter what. I know you may see a lot of layoffs happening at big tech, but that's just because they've just been overinflated with employees anyway. They've been hiring nonstop for like 10 years. And honestly, it's backfiring on them because they were being greedy. Big tech was just hiring every single coder they can so that the other companies couldn't get them. Now they have to pay all these people even throughout a recession, and they like, we don't want to pay you anymore. And they just letting these people go, which sucks. These people could have had jobs at companies who wouldn't let them go. But anyway, yeah, you can get you a job at a company. But what I really like too is the entrepreneurship route. Like you can build your own tech product. So I built a mobile app called T.Bot with the help of some of our teammates. And T.Bot is literally a trading bot. It automatically trades the Forex markets. So if you want to invest into Forex, which is the foreign exchange, this bot can literally automatically trade for you. And it's just super powerful. It's something that's going to change generations. We have a huge vision for it. And we just want to really kind of like automate financial freedom. So we just launched 2.0. It's going to be really, really dope when we get to 3.0 because we want to get into some AI. We want to launch it for like stocks and options. We got so much we want to do with it. But because I know how to code, we able to just keep building on this more and more. And on top of that, if you want, you also can just like become a freelancer, which I think is also super powerful because you can create your own schedule, create your own rates. You know, you can charge what you want, work when you want. And I think that's freedom. And that's what we all deserve. Lastly, just some links if you want to connect. Here's my email. And if you want to learn how to code with us or just look into our courses or anything like that or suggest them to somebody, you can go to unlock.academy. And if you want to support PhotoPatch, you can go to photopatch.org. Thank you all. Appreciate everybody listening in. If you have any questions, I'm definitely down to answer some. Thank you again, Emergent Works, for sharing the stage with me. You guys are great.
Of course. course, no, thank you. I just had to like sit in that for a moment. I think, you know, for the time you shared, you took me through so many different emotions, from being like motivated and inspired and just receiving some information that, you know, helped inform me. So thank you for that. And if the chat is any indication, those on this session are definitely inspired. And I also want to shout out your team. I've seen some folks from your team in the chat. So hello to you all from, you know, either UA or any of the teams affiliated. Thank you for joining us today. And I would love if someone can just plug Antoine's contact info in the chat if possible, but we definitely would share it after this call to our community. I'm sure you have some interested folks just wanting to reach out to you with any questions. But again, thank you. I know your time is limited. Know if there's any questions in the chat, if Tina, Paola, if you see any, definitely call them up. But if not, again, just want to thank you, Antoine, for your time and let you get on with celebrating you know, UA today.
Yes, we'll do. And you guys keep doing what you do. Like, I'm glad we are aligned. I love this. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you.
Yes.
All right, guys. So I think that was a nice little segue, right? We had a guest speaker, and that was amazing. But also want to share some other things with you all, because Emergent Works had the benefit of receiving funding from the Manhattan Mayor's office, and we were able to use some of the work that we do to shape a program around anti-gun violence. So I do want to share my screen again and just resume with our presentation and show you a quick little interview from our Bars Over Bullets program. So that was a 12-week program that saw about 8 young people from you know, gun violence impacted communities. It kind of helped them to get into therapeutic writing, to enhance some of their music performance, whether that's writing or actually performing music, to really kind of send a message about anti-gun violence and really mark that transition from trauma to healing or transformation. And so that program has sunsetted, but it was, from all accounts, very much a success, so much so that the spirit of that program we're definitely going to bring into future iterations of TRAP. So again, picking up where we left off, and gonna have you guys hear from some folks from that program. So again, let's start.
My name is G. I liked about BOB, I was able to express my creativity. I meet a bunch of people that share the same passion as me and really get started. My growth is incredible, and I appreciate everybody that gave me the opportunity just to be me. So I like almost about it.
This Flago. One thing I liked about this program is very creative, very inspiring. Everybody's trying to help you out. Everybody's trying to lift you with the same program. Like y'all all going through the same path and helping each other out. And one thing I definitely learned that that's not always you by yourself. You always work with somebody and help you build it. It's always a team. You don't gotta do everything alone. That really showed me. So definitely a program you need to check out. Show love to. Because young artists like us trying to grow. Some heat.
Just random coming in, just random. So it became amazing. Then yo, it's fine.
And this was last minute too, off the dome. Off the dome, it shows us what they really taught us in here. How creative we got. Gotta tune in. Focus gonna be the #1 thing out here.
Be number 2, be number 1, be number 1.
So you guys are able to see a little bit of from our BOB participants, and I'm not sure if any of them are with us today. If so, just want to send thanks and love to you all, and also shout out again Laquan, who was the student success coordinator and really assisted you know, our mentees in that program with any needs they were having, making sure they were getting to workshops in the studio on time, and also shouting out our very own Eli and Army, who were so instrumental in those therapeutic writing sessions and also those studio sessions. So wanting to send love to you guys that in addition to the work that you do with leading this organization, you also make sure to find time to kind of channel your energies and talents directly to our mentees. So thank you for that. We are going to move in, as you can see on the screen, into another passion project. Before I mention that, I did also want to plug, before I forget about Bob, and that their efforts did culminate into a project album and also a docuseries. So stay tuned, for info on that. We hopefully will be sharing some information from that project and some materials from that project. But without further ado, I did want to switch gears and go into Centonia's passion project. I'm not sure if she's on this call. She did express that, she may have some challenges with scheduling due to work, but again, that's a good thing, right? And so Centonia, if you are here, if you want to share briefly about your project, I'll pause for a few beats. But if I don't hear your voice, I'll go ahead and let your video speak for itself. Okay, I don't think she's able to make it, but here's her video. It's about 6 minutes long, so I'm sure it'll give us all the information around how she came up with this project and what the project entails.
So now I'm going to briefly take you through some of the things that I've learned and some of the challenges, some of the frustrating points, and some of the fun that I had before and during creating my passion project. Okay. One of the first things that I learned, even before actually coding the command line, and some of the challenges that I've faced in the command line really was me trying to memorize every command. And there's so many that's what was making it hard for me. But ultimately, in the end, I remember the ones that I use every day. So I wasted time, but at the end of the day, I also gained a lot of good habits from going so hard on the command line. So this is my passion project in VS Code. And as you can see from the screen, I have my HTML spreadsheet and I have my CSS style spreadsheet. And all of these things I had to incorporate in order to get the little bit that you will see. All of this I had to figure out, learn, decode, debug, so that I could get it to the way that I wanted it to get. So what I like to do when, like, as I was creating and as I was studying and as I was doing the code, I like to keep my browser up so that I could like continuously watch and see the outcome result of what I was doing. So this is my passion project. This is what I have so far, and I'm very proud of what I did accomplish because I had absolutely no knowledge. I was completely illiterate in anything technology, coding, and that sort. So this is a huge accomplishment for me. One of the biggest challenges I had in doing this website so far was the carousel. And this is the carousel right now. These pictures that I have with the controller where you're able to click and move, they actually move by themselves, but sometimes they take a little longer. But this was the hardest part for me because incorporating this carousel, me and my mentor, we actually use Bootstrap. And what Bootstrap is basically a library with a bunch of different templates that already have the CSS code already implemented into it. So what was hard for me was some of the things that I wanted my carousel to do, some of the things I wanted my pictures to do, I had to go into the CSS code that was already provided. I had to debug it. I had to override it with some of the CSS that I wanted it to do. So figuring that out was the biggest challenge. But I learned so much from just that challenge alone. I learned so much, and believe it or not, the things that I learned were outside of actually coding. I had to request help from so many different people. I actually had to like stick my neck out and say, like, I don't know what I'm doing and I need help, which was magnificent because I got to like interact with so many different people and see different styles of how people code. So that was a great, wonderful experience for me. And I also learned how to look things up. I'm still working on that, but like I learned how to look things up, which is really important for me too. So in doing that, I learned other things outside of the things I was learning in the Oding project. Um, I learned so many other things, like just doing the background color in these two containers, like, and coloring this text, like moving this moving this text, this paragraph to one side. Like I learned a lot of things through research and through other outside sources that I would not have learned or even came encounter with right now in the beginning stages had I not looked for help and started researching and looking up things because I could not figure out how to do the carousel. So I really love my project. As you can see, I'm doing I'm building a website for my young adults ministries group in my church, TTOR, which is the Temple of Restoration. This is so dear to me because I feel like all praise, or like I need to give my first fruits to God, and I have a real passion for, I have a real love for, and I think about it, I dream about it every time I get the opportunity. I'm coding, even if it's through coding games that I have on my phone. And I feel like where I'm going, it's more than just good pay. It's more than just a really nice work-life balance. I feel like knowing this and understanding this and learning this will be able to help me to propel my church in ways that, that are more 21st century. I feel like I could be of monumental help in that sense. And I feel like God deserves my first fruits. So as I continue to learn JavaScript and Python and other languages, I plan to always come back to this first project, this first website, and enhance it continuously because I feel like this is my first love. And I thank you, EW, for allowing me to even be a part of this. And I am going to take it so far, and I'm going to always look back, and I can't wait to see the next people that come after me and what it does for them, because it's going to do so much. And I thank you.
All right, so let's give it up for Centonia. I didn't mean to pause it there, Ian. So if you're on here, that wasn't intentional. But let's give it up for Centonia in the chat. Again, I don't think she was able to make it, but I want to thank her. And she never hesitated to continue to ask for help. You guys probably saw her names in different Slack channels where she was always, just asking for different suggestions. I believe even, I remember from our Eng team, Scissors was able to help her, but special shout out to her mentor, Claire Moore, who I know was just invaluable in this experience for Centonia. So thank you so much. And Claire, hopefully you're on the session. And again, sincere thank you. I do want to move into to Ian Norstad. Ian, I know at the top of this call, you messaged that you may be having some connection issues. So if you are, sorry about that, but if you aren't, I would love for you to come off mute and just briefly intro your passion project. Okay, I thought I heard him coming off mute, but if not, we're going to, is that you,
Can you
Ian?
guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I apologize if there's a bunch of noise behind me. I'm helping my wife today at a craft fair. So I'm like in the middle of a whole crowd of people right now.
No worries.
So I'll just do a quick introduction for my project. I really try to keep my video to 3 minutes, but I apologize for going over. That was the hardest thing for me, is to kind of summarize everything and not just run off in some random direction. But anyways, super humbled by everybody else's hard work, this cohort, and humbled by everybody's stories, and just so appreciative of the community that Emergent Works has put together here and brought all these amazing people together that otherwise probably wouldn't have ever crossed paths. So my project quickly was my first pass at what full stack web development is. My mentor was Zeb Gerard. who's a great teacher and he exercised an unbelievable amount of patience in kind of bringing me up to speed on a lot of things I'd never come across before. I wanted to take my last project from my previous cohort, which is on data visualization, and kind of factor that into how a dashboard would work. So that's kind of it. We'll probably pass it over to you, Amanda.
All right, and thank you for that, Ian. And yes, special shout out to Zeb. I see Zeb in the chat, so thank you, Zeb. I always look forward to your little chats and comments. It lets me know that I'm on track, or that information is hopefully resonating. So with that, here is Ian's passion project.
Hey everybody, my name is Ian Norstad. I'm based out of Northern California. This is my second cohort with Emergent Works, and I focused on full stack web development with Zeb Gerard. What is full stack web development? Well, it turns out nobody actually knows, least of all me, but I'll do my best to just make something up. So what we generally have in a web experience is front end, which is when you access a web page, you're looking at text, you're seeing some images, maybe something moves or changes, and that is connected to a database where the information is stored by something that's called routing. So generally the front end sends requests to the database and the database sends responses. What I focused on this time with the web development project is I wanted to pick up where my previous cohort left off. That cohort was focused on data visualization and RStudio, where I used global shark attack reports and created visualizations based off of that data. So for this project, I wanted to pull in some of those visualizations, but also add in some more kind of interactive functionality to that project, and allow people to access this like a dashboard where they can search for their own criteria. Also, we added a form here so that somebody could add in a new incident report and save that. So for example, if we type in the name Steve, location, dining room, and date yesterday, when we save this, we refresh the page, we can see over here that has been saved to our list. This card here right now is only pulling in the most 10 recent reports. Ultimately, this will be turned into an interactive chart. Some of the code that went into this project is a lot of React, which has been really hard to learn. I've struggled with it tremendously. It's based on JavaScript, but it also allows you to use HTML elements and kind of combine everything together into a sort of JavaScript type package. For the routing, we used Express, and so that's taking the work that we did on the front end with React, and that's sending it to the back end, and vice versa. So this is just kind of some generic script, but this shows sort of that process where on the front end, if somebody were to access a generic website with a path name of list user, when they access this page, the only thing that's being sent from the database is just text that says page listing. But that could be an object, it could be an array, it could be an image. And so this just kind of is here to show what that process looks like of going in between the front end and pulling something from the back end. For the back end, we used Mongo as the database to store the shark attack data. And Mongoose is the code that is used to access that information. So here we are sorting for, or we're finding only areas that show California. We are sorting for recent dates and limiting to top 10. Where do we go from here? I'm going to continue refining the CSS styling in the web app, so make it look a little bit better. Add some D3 scripts so that we can display dynamic charts. And we're also going to improve the website functionality overall. And then just continue learning and continue hopefully adding this all into something that is a pretty interesting user experience. So overall, this has been a really challenging process. It's been the hardest coding experience I've had. I'm not even sure I've really absorbed everything. I'm still kind of, my head's spinning and I'm still processing everything, but it's been super gratifying. And you know, I'm here for the challenge. And huge shout out to Zeb for your bottomless patience, bottomless knowledge on the subject. Huge shout out to everybody in Emergent Works, Amanda, Teen, Paola, Army, Eli, Scissors, of course, and all the other mentees. Everybody's been really great.
Thank you again for that. And don't forget to share love with Ian in the chat. But I just found out that we do have a last minute passion project entry. And so I did want to create space for that to be shared. Wendell Wilson, there is a project was submitted, and I believe that Paola is going to tee that up for us so that we can see what Wendell has been working on throughout his 12 weeks in our program. So Paola, it is all yours. We can always come back. Paola, don't stress yourself. We'll get to it. Now, I know we do have some feedback and data highlights that we want to share. So in the meantime, instead of playing that song for you guys again, we can kick it over to Teen, if you're prepared, just to kind of share some high level highlights from our programs.
Yes, absolutely. And oh my God, first I got to say, like, you guys are taking my breath away. Okay. This is so amazing to see all your work. And it's been so much fun because I know the last couple of weeks I've been meeting with several of you and like hearing about your passion projects. And I know you're like, I'm not going to show you yet, Tina. And I just love that because I wanted to be surprised today. And it is so damn awesome to see. Like, it's just been such a ride together. And I was telling Amanda, like, before I joined EW, I was in the last showcase, but I didn't know the mentees yet, you know, and it's been so amazing to build with you all. And I want to continue building. This is just the beginning. And this relationship we have together is freaking amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. But I also want to share, because you all have not been able to see some of the data from you guys. And I know we at the back end of EW, we've been seeing some data. So we wanted to share just some program data from pre-program, the 12 weeks, and then also from TRAP. And then we're gonna finish off with just sharing some data from our prior mentees just to inspire everybody as well. So I'm gonna share my screen. One second. And my laptop is, of course, really slow today, of course. So please don't mind if the screen is taking really long. But to begin with, everybody, we're just gonna go over some pre-program data. And just to remind everybody what we went through in pre-program, which was so much fun, was that we went through some different professional development areas, especially in connection with tech. And, you know, one of them was like, how do we work with Zoom? You know, most of our jobs are now virtual. So that was something we definitely had to highlight. Then we also focus on resume development, right? And you all, some of you have met me and Angie to do resume development. And I've also selected everybody who hasn't done it yet. You still got time to do the resume. But yeah, we went over, you know, how to build up your resume development. And I think everybody from those sessions will remember quantifiable achievements, at least I hope. And then we went through tech interview prep, like how to actually be part of a tech interview, because they're very different, and what to expect from them and how to prepare for that. We also had some amazing sessions on what is it like to be a software engineer and the pathways to that. We also went over project management tool, use some different softwares for those. And then we also had some dope sessions with navigating the non-tech positions as well as the tech careers. So, and then we also, did a little Odin project introduction. And I just got to give big shout out to like the entire EW team, because we got different departments, but all the different departments came together and put this curriculum together for pre-program. And it was so much fun. And it was so amazing to see how much you guys also enjoyed it, for real. And so to get to some data of that, I just want to share that from your feedback. And this is why your feedback is so important, guys. Really, like, we truly appreciate it because we need it. 89% of everybody had shared that the pre-program was a valuable add-on to their learning journey. And that makes us super happy because it was an entire new initiative for this cohort. So thank you all for sharing that. And then, and it's really slow, sorry. Also, you on an average rated 8.4 for the relevance of pre-program to your learning journey and, to your career as well. And then you rated 9.5 on an average for the topics that we have chosen for your professional development journey. So very, very awesome to see that. And again, we want to make pre-program continued focus as well for all the cohorts. So really cool to see the first time that it was something that was valuable. And wanted to share this because on an average, 79% of all of you were in attendance during pre-program. And sometimes when you see attendance, you're like, oh, it's just attendance, but it means so much because it means that you took out that time. You took that time out every week to be in these sessions to continue and develop. And that means a lot. Time is everything. We know that. And also you, on average, 71% of you all submitted your assignments during pre-program. And it was so cool to review the different things you all had done and just to see that dedication as well. And I know several of you as well, because you had landed employment during the cohort, you didn't get to be in the live sessions, but you would watch it and then submit the assignments. And I just gotta shout out to you all for such a dedication during already pre-program. And then we got to 12-week mentorship and you guys got paired with your dope mentors. And so that was also very new, that we had created some set curriculums to focus on during this. We have 3, and one was, as you know, basic foundation in digital literacy. The other one was web fundamentals and HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then we had intro to programming and really special focus on JavaScript. And then I know also some of you had special projects that you were focusing on that was a little bit outside the curriculum. But it was really cool to see it being used in practice for the first time. So, and it's been so amazing seeing also both you as mentees and also you as mentors reaction to the curriculums. And let's get into those numbers then. So on an average, the sessions was rated at 8.9 from you both as mentees and mentors. And also the average rate for how you felt about the curriculum was at an 8.7 for both mentees and mentors. So really dope to see, your feedback also, and everything you've written as well, we're taking into account. So it matters so much, that feedback, for real. Thank you guys. And then really important, on average between both you as mentees and mentors, you rated your relationship with each other at 9.4. And that makes us so happy because it means the world that we're able to connect and build together and be, happy with one another and the pairing. So it was so amazing to see how close you all have gotten to your mentors and how close you as mentors have gotten to our amazing mentees. And then just want to say a shout out, because when this cohort started, you all as graduates, you're 85% of the cohort. So 85% of this cohort graduated. And I could not be more proud, because I know sometimes, like we say, EW, life is gonna life, right? So sometimes you can't see things through even though you want to. But just shout out to you all for like dedicating your time, dedicating that space for learning and building on your future and just building with us. It means so much. Thank you guys. And then we are on to trap, and we wanted to show a little trap because I know as well Latonia had her amazing project she shared earlier. And so our technology, rhythm, and passion program. So let's see some stats from here. So, and again, I'm sharing this because it's really fire to see. I know several of you who were in trap were also in the one-to-one program. I actually think almost like I would say maybe 80% of the mentees that was in trap was in the one-to-one cohort. And I just want to shout out that you guys on the average was 72% in attendance during those sessions, and we're balancing the one-to-one and trap and your work or your studies. And you know, it means a lot. Shout out to you. And then on top of that, on average, 67% of you submitted your assignments. And let me tell you, everybody, on the trap assignments, so many incredible bars, so many incredible hooks and lyrics were submitted. And I know so many of you was also performing them in the sessions, and it was just incredible to read and follow along that journey. And I know as well, you also submitted your digital flex and audio engineering assignments, but it was such a pleasure to see all that work and your creativity in it. And then as an average, you all in trap rated 9.2 for the relevance of the topics and the sessions to your own professional growth and development. And we appreciate that feedback because I know Eli and the team has put so much effort into creating this amazing curriculum for trap. So it's so dope to see you guys are just loving it. And then, I think this is the last statistic of trap. And I'm sorry, the screen is so slow. I think my computer is really hot. All right, so the average, also you rated 9.4 for the relevance of the assignments to your own professional growth and development. And, you know, we love seeing that because nothing means more than the actual assignments being also relevant for your growth. And to inspire you all for the future, we also wanted to share some of our prior mentees' data. And let me see, my laptop is a little slow. Yes, this is some of our prior graduates. And again, this data, this info comes to us because you all take amazing time out to really complete these feedback forms. So really thank you for doing that. So based on some of our old graduates, 100% have reported that they are either employed or students, you know, high, big ups, kudos to them, really fire. And it's been reported that 1 in 3 of our employed graduates work in the tech industry. And 1 in 3 employed graduates also has a tech position, which is super cool to see you all moving in to that space. And then I know, like we said, like Tony as well said, like it's all about meaning as well as all about passion, but you know, we also need our money to live in this world, right? So really cool to see that from the reportings, from the feedback. The average EW graduate makes more than 3 times the salary of formerly incarcerated individuals. And the sky's the limit, you know, we got to get to that. And then also 0% of the graduates that has reported has experienced 0 recidivism during the cohorts and up to 3 years post-cohort. So really, really incredible. And then lastly, we wanted to share one of our amazing prior graduates, Makita Davis. And she, again, went from that $500 stipend to her 6 figures. And just to share with you her success story. She shared, when I was finally released from my 9.5-year prison sentence, many employers would not hire me. The dedication, time, resources, equipment, emotional support, and financial support from Emergent Works is the biggest reason I was able to see this through. Today, I can proudly say I'm a thriving software engineer. Shout out to Makita, for real. And I wanted to leave you all with this because I want you all to feel empowered, feel inspired to continue your learning journey, to continue building your code, to continue building your skills, and go after the career you want and the happiness that you want. So again, big shout out to you all for doing so amazing. And I really hope to see several of you as well next year in the cohort. But until then, please guys, on Monday, I'm gonna send out the feedback forms. And this is why we need your feedback, okay? We need that awesome feedback from you all just to help continue make EW grow with you all. So really appreciate you all. And please as well, if you haven't seen my Slacks or messages about resume development, just hit me up because you still have time to do your resume. Thank you guys so much. And really congratulations with this amazing accomplishment. Super, super duper proud of you.
Yay, thanks, Teen. Thank you for, I know sometimes it can feel like the unglamorous side of the job, always asking for feedback and compiling that, but you know, it's so important. And we, like you said, we value your feedback. And also we can't tell our story without the data. So thank you for always being the one that's championing a data culture here at EW. So I hear we are on track to see Wendell's passion project, and Paola, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And thank you to our mentor, Daniel Dickinson, who just helped me out in the chat. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. But before I press play, I really wanted to shout out this mentee, Wendell Wilson, and his mentor, Alex Strong. What I had the pleasure to do Wendell's 15-minute screening, and I left that meeting so inspired, so willing to just continue the work. And yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to witness your growth. And yeah, without further ado, let's go watch his presentation.
My name is Wendell Wilson. I'm here at Emergent Works. Shout out to Emergent Works staff, mentors, and other mentees. I want to take a shot at this presentation. I want to speak with you and share with you this information that I have, come to learn about open source software. Y'all bear with me. Open source software is a software developed by the public, or practically anyone for that matter. Open source software places the creator of the software in a good position to benefit from the fresh eyes of countless able end users. This happens by way of allowing them to first identify with the ways, or many ways for that matter, to make the software better for the owner, yet at the same time, for the giving the end user this means to add to the software for their own benefit. I would like to believe the whole computer in and of itself would not have been, had it not been for the collective efforts of countless individuals sharing their ideas through the means of open software. Repository, it's actually, I can see on the screen, it's a place that holds source code. The main purpose of repository is to store a set of files, as well as the history of changes made to those files. Repository comes in two flavors, local and remote. The local repository is a directory located on a Maven running machine. It includes interim build artifacts that you haven't yet released and catches remote downloads. Open source software is often published freely and kept in a public repository. Anyone with access to the repository is welcome to utilize the code on their own or provide enhancements to the project's general functionality and design. I'd like to speak about the win-win with open source software. One of the wins is to the consumer developer. Here's just, a few benefits of open software. Both flexibility and freedom. It being really good. Costs are reduced exponentially. There's security, community-based, and innovation. Here's an example. The accessibility of the program is likely the finest illustration principles of open software, which are centered on freedom and flexibility. The majority of the open source program may be downloaded and utilized right away from public repositories. The next one is to the creator, which actually I should have spoke about this first. Some advantages of the original open source developers would be speed, flexibility, and agility, cost efficiency, small startability, solid information security, achievements of better talent, and shared maintenance of costs, and the future of course. Excuse me. The third one, goes to the contributors. This is the shared opinion, and I would like to share an opinion as well. In the opinion of many programmers worldwide, open source initiatives make development more approachable and improve the world. Other participants, only out of their conviction that open source software projects foster creativity, teamwork, and a healthy competition. Teamwork makes the dream work. Someone so elegantly stated one time or another in life. And in my conclusion, open source software is computer software that is distributed under a license that allows users to use, study, alter, and distribute the program and its source code to anyone and for any purpose. Open source software may be created collaboratively and publicly. The repository is used to store a collection of files, as well as their history and modifications. As previously mentioned, flexibility and freedom are shared benefits amongst artists, consumers, developers, and contributors alike. Open source software is neither anonymous, faceless, or charitable. It is also not simply a communal initiative. What we are witnessing now is a technological revolution propelled by market demand, and it is called open source software. And in closing, I would like to, just shout out a few people. First and foremost, I appreciate your time and your patience, your ear, listening to this presentation. Without further ado, though, I would like to shout out my mentor, Alex Chuan. This brother has been more than a mentor. He has been an inspiration, to me, as I'm sure, a lot of y'all mentors, has been to y'all. I would also like to shout out Army, my brother, from another mother, as we would say. I appreciate you staying in my life, man, staying behind me and, pushing me. You push, I pull. I pull, you push. I appreciate you. And the staff, at Emergent Works, collectively, I would like to shout y'all all out. the mentors, you know, I want y'all to know that we appreciate your time and your energy in this matter, moving forward in knowledge of code. Thank you.
Thank you for setting that up for us, for getting that entry to us, because we would not have been able to see it and end on such a powerful note without you assisting us. And special thank you to Wendell. That was amazing. And hopefully you feel encouraged by the chat and just all the positive feedback there. And also just want to, again, thank your mentor, Alex, great job. And thank you for always being so willing to jump on a Slack and just answer questions that I have. So thank you for that. Always mindful of time, and we're at the 2 o'clock mark, but I do want to say, if nothing else, we leave this feeling inspired and encouraged for all the work that we do, whether we're a mentor or a mentee. I just got an email from someone that said, hey, I was interested in one program, but after seeing this showcase today, I want to try my hand at coding. So that speaks volumes about the work that you do. If you ever think, oh, my project is not perfect, or it's missing this or that, I have some work to do, hopefully you feel inspired by someone else feeling inspired by seeing your work today. So I just want to thank you all for your time, encourage you all to look out for communications from us. We are going to be gearing up for our next cohort early next year. So hopefully our mentees and mentors and others in our community can come back and join us and continue this ride with us. For those of you that have been a part of previous cohorts, hopefully you see some changes that are great. Continue to offer feedback for us to improve. For those of you, this is your first cohort, the best is yet to come. So stay connected with us. And again, we appreciate you all. We thank you all. And thank you for attending this showcase on a Saturday. You could have been anywhere, but you were here with us. So we thank you. And it's 2:01. Go enjoy your day. And again, look forward to communications from the EW family. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.